Trump started his sketchy modeling agency where he would bring underage models into the US to work illegally on travel visas right after he became BFFs with Diddy. And no one is reporting on it. Let's start with a little history as to why this timing is especially sketchy. It is the 90s and Trump is in debt and everyone knows it. But then creditors start valuing his brand out of nowhere and his finances start improving. But what was Trump doing during this time? If you guessed that he struck a business deal hosting and sponsoring parties with teenage girls who were as young as 14 and the average age being 15 for rich old men, you would be right. He hosted Look of the Year on large private yachts and in his Plaza Hotel, where teenage girls dance around in dresses and miniskirts for rich old men for their chance to win a contract with the world's then leading modeling agency, Elite Model Management, run by John Casablancas. And you might be thinking, how would this boost his brand alone? Well, the parties were used as a way for the rich old men to engage in schmexual relationships with the contestants. And Casablancas wasn't the only one Trump was hosting and sponsoring parties for. Trump asked American Dream Calendar Girls beauty contest owner to organize a party with his pageant finalists, saying he would invite modeling agencies and prospective sponsors. But the only other guest who was invited was Jeffrey Epstein. And then what starts to happen? Rappers start dropping Trump's name about how he was the personification of wealth and luxury, which significantly helped boost his brand. Even though his finances said otherwise, and so did the newspapers, Trump knew that no one would care about your finances if you provided rich and powerful men with young impressionable teen models at lavish parties. And then he really started getting his name dropped in raps around 1998. And what happened that year? He became good friends with Diddy and started going to all of his parties. And then the next year, he started, surprise, surprise, a modeling agency, where Diddy's favorite party guest, Leonardo DiCaprio, gushed to the Donald saying, wow, one-stop date shopping. What a concept. And Trump would not only fly in underage aspiring models, have them come into the US on a tourist visa and work illegally, which is hilarious since he talks so much about illegal immigrants being the downfall of America. He also would get his top models H-1B visas, which he constantly campaigns to get rid of. But he would have models go to every event of his as props and arm candy, and while doing this, he charged them outrageous amounts to live in horrible apartments while paying them nothing. And they couldn't work for anyone else because they signed a contract stating that wasn't allowed. And you might be thinking, how was this never investigated? Senator Barbara Boxer called to federal authorities to investigate Trump Model Management for alleged labor and immigration violations, but then Trump won the presidency and Trump Model Management closed in 2017. And if you didn't think all of that was bad enough, a little under a year ago, one of Trump's models, who was of course an immigrant from Spain, filed a lawsuit against fashion photographer Terry Richardson and Trump Model Management. She was recruited by the Trump agency in 2004. The agency sent her to be interviewed by Mr. Richardson, where he wore only a robe to the meeting. She reported the encounter to the Trump agency, but they said it was commonplace behavior and should be overlooked, and then booked her a photo shoot. At the photo shoot, she was drugged by a beverage where she felt dizzy and disoriented, and Mr. Richardson essayed her while his assistant took pictures. Doesn't that sound familiar? Trump agency ignored her concerns again and sent her to another photo shoot with him, where he did the exact same thing. And then he used the photos in an exhibit. And as someone who has worked with booking models, the agency knew what he was doing. They approved that photo shoot. And side note, after closing his modeling agency while he was president, Trump trademarked Trump Escorts in China. So let's be so for real right now. If you are outraged about everything that Diddy did and everything that Epstein did, but not what Trump did, they are all connected. They are all doing the same things across many industries and working with each other to do them and getting away with it because they are rich and powerful. And it will keep happening unless we hold people accountable for what they are doing.